Happy holidays everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make DIY photo transfer ornaments that you can make to adorn your Christmas tree. Here's my ornaments. You can see that I used photos of our newborn son Colton. And if you guys are interested in seeing how I made these quick and simple DIY photo transfer ornaments, then stay tuned. For this DIY you will need wooden ornaments or another holiday surface from Michaels, photocopies of the pictures that you wish to use printed on a laser jet printer, small foam or paint brushes, FolkArt multi-surface satin acrylic paint in wicker white, which you can purchase from Plaid online, and I will go ahead and link their website down below. They also have a ton of fun tutorials using FolkArt's products on their website. Mod Podge Photo Transfer Medium, Mod Podge in a matte finish, and Mod Podge is a water-based sealer, glue, and finish, and you can purchase all of their products on Plaid online, and a spray bottle or damp rag. So to begin this project, I just laid out some wax paper here on my table, and this is just to protect the surface while I'm working on my ornament. Then I'm going to be taking my FolkArt multi-surface acrylic paint and just squeezing a little bit onto a paper plate. And I'm just using a small paintbrush to paint the surface of my ornament. Make sure that you paint the sides. And then I'm actually going to paint a second coat of the white just here on this front part of the ornament. I want a really opaque background. And the reason that I'm using white paint for this particular project is because I found that the white acrylic paint actually is the best background color for the photo transfer. It just really helps the image to pop on the surface of the ornament, but of course you could use any color that you like. So we're done with our second coat. Now I'm just going to go ahead and rinse my brush out. Okay, so now that our acrylic paint has dried, we're ready to cut out our image and transfer it onto the ornament. So as you can see, I'm going to be using this little Christmas picture of Colton. This is from his newborn photo shoot. Isn't he cute? And I did have photocopies of these images printed off for me at Staples. They have to be printed on a laser printer for this particular project. It will not work with images that have been printed out on an inkjet printer. It will smear the ink and everything, so make sure that you go to a Staples or a Kinko's and have them print them out on a laser printer for you. So to get started with this step of the tutorial, lay your image down on your wax paper or any other work surface that you don't mind getting a little bit messy. And I'm just going to place the ornament on top and use a pencil to trace the shape, and that way I can just make sure that my image is cut to the correct size. So that looks about right, so I'm just going to use my pencil to outline. Okay, so now we have our general shape and we can cut it out. Alright, so I cut out the image and fit it to the ornament, and now it is time to transfer. And to transfer, we're going to be using our Mod Podge Photo Transfer Medium. And I'm just going to be using a foam brush to apply to the image only. So lay the image directly on your wax paper, face side up. Make sure that the entire image is covered, and then very carefully we're going to pick the image up, flip it over, and apply it face side down onto the ornament. And I'm going to be using a putty knife just to make sure that we don't have any air bubbles, and just to flatten that image right on there. You can also use a credit card, but I didn't really want to be flashing my credit card here on YouTube. Okay, so I'd say that's on there pretty well. And now comes the hard part, and that's waiting. You do have to let this sit overnight. So don't get anxious and start trying to remove the paper backing early. Definitely let this dry overnight, and then in the morning we can continue on to the next step. And I actually have two images that I'm going to be transferring today. So this is my other little picture of Colton. And this one is actually in color, which I have not done before, so I'm excited to see how it turns out. Okay, so we've allowed our image to transfer to our ornament overnight. It has been a full 24 hours, and the next step is to dampen the image. So you can either use a damp rag for this, or I'm using just a spray bottle. And then I'm just going to take a rag and just blot the back of the image just to make sure that it's fully transferred to the ornament. And as you guys can see, as we dampened it, the image actually started to show through. So now we're ready to remove this paper backing, and how we're gonna do that is just very gently using our finger. We're gonna just take the paper off. Now this is the most tedious part of the entire process, and you do have to be really careful when removing the backing with your finger. Just press very gently because you can actually remove little bits of the image if you're too rough, and sometimes it even happens when you're not rough. But I actually don't mind if a little bit of the image gets removed because I think it adds to sort of the rustic charm of the look. Okay, so our image is fully transferred. You guys can see I got all the paper backing off, and it gives it like a time-worn older effect, which is really neat, especially when you use the black and white photographs. So one down, one to go. And this is actually a color picture, if you guys remember. So you can see this one quite a bit more clearly once you get it wet. So our picture is thoroughly saturated. Now we're just going to go ahead and use the same process. Gentle rubbing with your finger to remove the paper. So as you guys can see, the image is almost completely transferred. I have a little bit of paper still to remove, but I absolutely love the look of the color photos. I thought originally that I was gonna like the black and white better, but the color photos I think are really fun pop against the white background. So this is what my other little Colton ornament looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and finish removing the backing, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to seal your ornament. For the final step of this tutorial, I'm going to be sealing my ornament, and I'm going to be using my trusty Mod Podge in the matte finish. It does come in a few different finishes: gloss, matte, I think a satin, a pearl, but I think for the rustic look I'm going for that the matte finish would work best. I really like using Mod Podge as a final step sealer in a lot of my projects. It just gives it a nice finish, and it lasts for a super long time. So I'm going to be squeezing some onto a paper plate, and then I'm just going to be using a small foam brush to apply it to the front of the ornaments. So I'm just going to do a moderate coat on the front, and this should protect it for many Christmases to come. And don't be alarmed that the Mod Podge does give the image a cloudy, opaque look. It does dry clear. Okay, so we've got a nice coat of the Mod Podge on there, and we're just going to allow this first coat to dry for about 15 or 20 minutes, and then we can apply a second coat. Okay, so the Mod Podge is now dry, and the ornaments are completely sealed and ready to go on the tree. Let me show you guys a close-up. And as you guys can see, this process is really neat. So this is what the colored one looks like, and then this is what the black and white image looks like. So I'm really happy with how these DIY photo transfer ornaments turned out. I hope that you guys will give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and let me know in the comments below if you try out this DIY. So be sure to check out my DIY playlist for a ton more DIY inspiration, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for watching.